Sorts of activity in Parliament ahead of the big speech at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Anticipation building for the Finance Minister's medium-term budget policy statement later. Several unions and civil society groups also mobilising ahead of that speech through protests and pickets. Newzroom Afrika reporter Nasipi Summit joins you now live ahead of those marches. Nasipi, good morning. What are people there asking for?
Well, this morning we spoke to COSATU highlighting that should government not listen to the demands that they will be submitting in the form of a memorandum, they are going to be exploring legal options to ensure that government does listen to the pleas of the poor and working class. And we heard from this morning from COSATU saying that there's a number of issues and demands that they want government to look into, such as, what is going to be the budget for the NHI bill, and also the budget for the Bella bill, also saying that they want government to create a conducive environment for business in order to create those much needed jobs. But the march is about to start making its way to Parliament to submit that memorandum of demands. And I'm joined by somebody here, Mamunombulelo, who is from Igugulethu, and I'm going to ask her, Mama, wena uvuswe yintoni namhlanje? Zintoni ezinto ufuna uMinister Enoch Godongwana azitsho namhlanje?
Eyona nto isivusileyo ukuba siyambona urhulumente ukhatha kuzo zonke sectors zikarhulumente. Eyona nto indivusileyo ke njenge-activist especially uhealth forum yaseGugulethu. So siyabethakala iGugulethu Day Hospital yethu sinengxaki nokokuba ngaba kuthathwe inurse okanye ugqirha aka-replace because urhulumente akho mali. Ayikho njani imali because impilo zethu zixhomekeke kuye esandleni sikarhulumente ngokuba enze more kwiikliniki zethu, especially iGugulethu Day Hospital. Kudala sisi-advocate uba makwakhiwe iklinik entsha from 1964 oko yakhiwa. Abantu, there is a lot of influx yabantu ngoku eGugulethu. Le kliniki yayakhelwe elaa xesha, yayi-right for aba bantu belaa xesha. Ngoku banintshi abantu, into eyenzeka nayo kuyaphungulwa, urhulumente uphungula imali.
Mamunombulelo there from Gugulethu Health Forum saying that the ripple effects of budget cuts, they're feeling it on the ground, saying that the clinic that they have in their community cannot carry the influx or the high volumes of people that are currently dependent on that particular clinic, saying that without budget cuts, perhaps they would have been able to have a second clinic. I'm also joined by the SACP's provincial secretary in the Western Cape, Benson Ngenzu. We've heard Mamunombulelo now. We've heard many others talking about some of the things that they'd like the Minister of Finance to touch on, such as, the austerity measures that many have been calling for, saying for the end of that. However, it's another memorandum of demands. It's another march ahead of the budget speech. How do you communicate with government when Mamunombulelo is saying since the 60s they've been calling for some of these things, which is a lack of service delivery?
Nasipi, it's worth highlighting that our campaign against neoliberal austerity is gaining serious momentum. As you can see here, it's no longer an SACP COSATU. A wide range of forces were here that we call it Popular Left Front. Therefore, we are going to push seriously to ensure that indeed this government listens to the workers and the poor. As Nombula has indicated, that the impact of budget cuts affect the workers and the poor because every time they cut, right, queues become longer in clinics, right? Police officers are made to carry about more than 200 dockets, one detective. So we need, therefore, to ensure that there is funding of the Department of Education, funding of health, funding of the police, and also that there is no privatization of any of our state-owned companies. And finally, there must be investment on productive sectors of our economy, not on speculative economy.
How do you ensure of doing this? I mean, we have a government of national unity now. It's been many years, COSATU and SACP marching ahead of the budget speech. We heard this morning that there hasn't been any movement when it comes to that demands. What happens now? Should government of national unity not listen to the pleas of the poor and working class?
Nasipi, it's not government of national unity, it's government of neoliberal unity. Because this government is a realignment, represent a realignment of neoliberal class forces and consolidation of their class agenda and an agenda of budget cuts, amongst other things. Therefore, it is upon all of us as the workers and the poor to ensure that we galvanize our mass work till they listen to our demands of funding NHI, of funding education, of funding health, etc., or else they risk perishing. We warned you, were here, Nasib, when we said 2 or so years ago, if this government is the government of the workers and the poor, must listen to us. But if it's a government of the IMF and the World Bank, the government would be punished by the workers and the poor at the voting during elections. What happened? Indeed, we were punished. As the ANC government, we did not lose elections because people don't want us. We lost elections because of this neoliberal trajectory, because it makes government not to have the capacity to deliver at least the basic services to our people. I mean, Usus Nombulelo can't complain after 30 years of democrats that they still stand longer queues in clinics. That we can't allow, and that they are turned back to say, make an appointment as if sickness makes an appointment to you. That must come to an end.
Quickly, Benson, one would then argue that the Minister of Finance does not have much wiggle room when it comes to some of the issues that you want.
Plans by this government of ours must be made to ensure that the basic needs of our people are addressed, and such needs have already been highlighted: health, education, etc. So that is the bottom line. Invest on productive sectors of our economy, fund NHI, resuscitate, reposition state-owned companies as an investment in the public sector economy, because SOEs should serve as a backbone of our economy in this instance, but not public economy.
We'll have to leave it there. We'll just show you the members from various unions, including civic organizations, currently coming together ahead of the march to Parliament to hand over a memorandum of demands. We heard now from the SACP saying that this memorandum of demands is a bottom line, and failure to do so, they fear that the current government might just perish, saying that the issues that they want to be addressed is the issue of budget cuts, which is something that they will not accept. They want health, education and security, or rather police, to be funded. We heard from various community members here that are part of this march saying that they are hoping to hear something favorable from government, where they walk away saying that they would like for government to hear the pleas of the poor and working class. And in a couple of minutes, this march will be making its way down Hanover Street all the way to Parliament to hand over that memorandum of demands ahead of Minister of Finance Enoch Godongwana's speech at 2 o'clock. And after the ad break, we will be giving you, or rather continue giving you, rolling coverage when it comes to this particular march that makes its way to Parliament in a couple of minutes.